Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. I knew being happy and slightly content about Chelsea was kind of unusual. So we are back to regular service of being depressed about Chelsea, especially at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, it felt very, very similar to last year, didn't it? I think there were so many shades of last year, the missed chances, the sense of a lack of creativity, some really frustrating, I guess, personnel decisions, and just that sense of inevitability that it wasn't going to go Chelsea's way today. And I think it's a real knockback from Mauricio Pochettino. I think it's a real knockback for the club. You know, this is literally a day after the transfer deadline day where, you know, in a window where Chelsea once again have spent astronomical amounts of money to try and improve this squad. And we're losing to a team who have only, I think, got one Premier League away win under their belt last season. And, you know, you don't. I try not to be, you know, hyperbolic. I'm not going to go all in on these players and on Pochettino because we are only 4 games into it, specifically Mauricio Pochettino's time as Chelsea's head coach. But it's very hard to be positive after an afternoon like that. I think it's just, you know, there is a sense, you know, being, you know, and following Chelsea last season, it is kind of like you hope that there will be some turnaround at some point, you know, into more positivity. And maybe we thought that after pre-season, we thought that maybe after the performance against Liverpool, we thought that after the performance against Luton, but it wasn't meant to be today. I think the big thing for me that comes out of today, and it's not a new kind of criticism or kind of question to Mauricio Pochettino or kind of the approach at Chelsea, is this kind of left wing 3 centre back / 4 centre back sort of approach that Mauricio Pochettino has taken. I don't understand it, and I don't think it's getting the best out of this team. Now, it isn't solely because of that Chelsea failed to win today. It isn't also solely, you know, you change that means that everything else is fixed. But I think, you know, it just frustrates me, and it is something that I have seen, you know, recent Chelsea coaches do, where it feels like we are limiting a player's best ability in service of something else, and then you don't actually see what the service is for. You don't really see what the compromise for that player, a very talented player. Funny enough, it used to be Reece James a lot, playing him at right centre back, which I just hated. And now you're seeing Ben Chilwell. Okay, him playing as an advanced wing back / even winger is not the most ridiculous idea because he is a very attacking fullback, but I don't think it's helping out Chelsea because, number one, you're adding another centre back onto the pitch against teams, and in a lot of these games so far, with the exception of Liverpool, where Chelsea are expected to be quite dominant. You're playing Levi Colwill at left back, it looks like, which is not his natural position, even if he is a left-sided centre back. And, you know, with the abundance of, you know, attacking options we do have and have invested in over the summer, some of those are left on the bench. You know, Noni Madueke, who I thought played brilliantly against AFC Wimbledon. Of course, we've now got Cole Palmer, you've got Mykhailo Mudryk, you've got Raheem Sterling, who's been playing. I just don't think it's servicing the team. And I think for Ben Chilwell particularly, I think he, at times, is getting into good areas. There was one really good diagonal run he made in the second half shortly after Elanga's opener. I thought his final ball there was just poor, but I just don't think it looks like a cohesive team. It looks makeshift, and I think that it only works. It feels like very much a short-term solution to a longer-term problem. And I think that is something, hopefully, that will be changed and altered post the international break, because I just don't think it's servicing not only Ben Chilwell as an individual, but also the rest of the team. And you're limiting, I think, the attacking output of this team. In the first half, Chelsea, I think, started brightly, but, you know, that didn't last that long. And as the half went on, it felt like sort of that intensity level dropped, and just always looking for that extra pass. And I think Chelsea really did struggle against a low block today, kind of a, you know, again, very long-standing problem of being able to open up those spaces and find key passes. Sometimes it was an extra pass, sometimes it was a bad decision, sometimes it was just good defending. You know, I think Nottingham Forest did put up a really good display today defensively. I thought, you know, Worrell and Bolly and Yates, you know, I thought there were some very, very good performances out there, but you know, there were still moments where you just look at Chelsea and it was just lacking that killer instinct. That is, again, I thought also the delivery of, say, Malo Gusto, who I credited last week for his low cross to Raheem Sterling. this week his crossing was abysmal. I mean, the crossing generally, the delivery into the box was just abysmal throughout the game. And when you're trying to break down a low block, when you're trying to create chances, when you're trying to get back into a game, I mean, it just relieves so much pressure. And sure, there's the one big chance of the game that is going to be playing through not only our minds, but I'm sure Nicholas Jackson's mind, at least over the international break, that he should be burying. And again, it's kind of that deja vu thing of Chelsea missing big chances and Chelsea strikers missing big chances. It's a shame for me because I think, again, Nicholas Jackson, he's doing, overall his performance level, I think is of a level that we should be happy with as a young striker. I think he's doing the basics right. I think he's holding up the ball well. I think he's linking play with others. I think most of the way he's there, but I think, he is still a very young, raw striker. And it's just that moment of, if he gets that in, obviously, I think it's obviously a game-changing moment. And at the very least, Chelsea get a point and don't lose this game. But of course, that moment there, I felt that was the inevitable moment. We did see the first of Cole Palmer in a Chelsea shirt. He played centrally more so. He was kind of playing at number 10, arguably where Enzo was playing further up the pitch. Conor Gallagher and Ben Chilwell were taken off for Noni Menawake and Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer looked, neat and tidy with the ball. There was a moment where he nearly found Mykhailo Mudryk with a brilliant chipped ball from his left foot. Again, very hard to judge Cole Palmer off this situation. He's coming off the bench into a situation where Chelsea are needing to find, an equaliser. The goal itself is a mix-up between not only Moises Caicedo but also Conor Gallagher. Just really poor. And there were actually a few moments where even Robert Sanchez was trying to give the ball away. And it's just, Alanga finishes it well. Awani was giving Thiago Silva problems. He gave Chelsea problems this time last year, in the fixture last year at Stamford Bridge. But it was such a poor goal to give away because at that moment the game changes, right? It wasn't exactly that Chelsea were on top, looked like they were inevitably going to score, but you give yourself an uphill task and you give the opponent, it's a classic low block situation where you give the opposing team something to hang on to. And although, Alanga finishes it well, it's an individual mistake. And to be honest, for the rest of the game, other than one breakaway chance right near the end, Forest barely made anything in the game. And that is what Pochettino, that is what I think we should be looking at and being devastated by, right? Because it's just so frustrating that, one individual mistake or one mistake, it costs you dearly in this league. And for Pochettino, I mean, it is 2 defeats. I mean, it is losing half of our opening 4 games. And when you put it like that, and given the fact that Chelsea haven't faced, other than Liverpool, it hasn't been the most intense opening to a Premier League season, that's really, really devastating. And there obviously is still a lot of work to be done in terms of what the team's going to look like. I know there will be a lot of people throwing their hands up and saying there's no hope and nothing's changed and there's no improvement and the world's going to end. I mean, what are you going to say to those people, right? It does feel pretty drab and horrible when you're losing games like that. But I would say, we are still very, very early days in this season. I still think there are things absolutely to be optimistic about in terms of individual player performances, but just tactically, but also in terms of Chelsea looking like a more cohesive team who are going to be able to win games more consistently. There are still obviously big question marks. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Have a great rest of your weekend if you can, and I'll see you again very soon. All the best.